Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something. We're going to unravel a carefully constructed illusion, a system that's hiding in plain sight, quietly shaping your choices, your dreams, and even who you think you are.
So let me ask you this. What if the reality you live in every single day isn't as real as it feels? What if it's more like a script you were handed at birth, a role you've been taught to play so well you've forgotten you're even acting?
You see, the greatest lie ever sold isn't some huge conspiracy you read about online. Nope, it's much, much sneakier than that. It's a system so deeply woven into the world around us that we mistake it for the truth. It's like the air we breathe.
And that's the real trap, isn't it? We build our entire lives on the foundation of this lie. We plan our careers, our relationships, our futures based on it. We even find ourselves defending the very walls that box us in, without ever realizing we're willingly giving up our own freedom and happiness.
So how does this even happen? How do they pull it off? Well, it starts the second we're born. It's all part of a massive, subtle machinery of conformity that starts conditioning us from day one.
Think about it. As a kid, you're a sponge, just soaking up all the rules and expectations. Then you get to school, where the game becomes really clear. Follow the rules, get good grades. You're rewarded for compliance, not for rocking the boat. It's what the psychologist B.F. Skinner called behavioral reinforcement. You do the right thing, you get a reward, a gold star, a good grade, a like on social media. And over time, this trains us to constantly look outside of ourselves for approval.
But that brings up a really important question. If we're all running around desperately trying to get this approval, who's actually setting the standards? Who gets to decide what's worthy? Who defines the success we're all supposed to be chasing?
This is where a thinker like Michel Foucault just absolutely hit the nail on the head. He argued that modern power doesn't need to use chains and guards. Oh no, it's way more efficient to just define what's normal.
This whole process has a name: normalization. It basically creates this invisible box of what's considered acceptable. As long as you stay inside that box, your job, your thoughts, your lifestyle, you're fine, you're safe. But the moment you step outside, you risk being seen as weird or irresponsible or maybe even broken.
And here is the truly brilliant and kind of sinister part of this system. When you feel unhappy or empty or like something is just wrong, the system has a built-in defense mechanism. It convinces you that it's your fault. You're just not working hard enough. You're not positive enough. This keeps you spinning your wheels and blaming yourself instead of ever questioning the box you're in.
That feeling of self-blame is the perfect foundation for the next layer of control. Because it's not just about rules and norms, it's about the stories we're told, the narratives that literally shape how we see the world.
You know, Noam Chomsky talked about this idea of manufacturing consent, and it's so powerful. He said the real control isn't in the specific information you're given, it's in setting the boundaries of what you're even allowed to think about. It's about controlling what questions you never think to ask.
A perfect example? The myth of meritocracy, the story that anyone can make it if they just work hard enough. On the surface, it sounds amazing, right? So empowering. But here's the dark side. If you don't make it, the story implies it's 100% your fault. It completely ignores all the systemic barriers and unfair advantages that exist. It's a story designed to keep people content with the status quo.
This control even seeps into the words we use. It's almost like a real-life version of what George Orwell warned us about with newspeak in his book 1984, a language literally designed to kill critical thought. We do a softer version of this today. We use clean, sanitized terms like collateral damage instead of civilians were killed, or downsizing instead of people lost their jobs. It's language designed to numb us to reality. So, after a lifetime of this external conditioning, of absorbing all these stories and all these rules, something really incredible happens. The control mechanism moves. It goes from being outside of you to being inside of you. It becomes a prison in your own mind. And that's when the system has truly won. It doesn't need to police you anymore, because you do the work for it. You become your own prison guard. You're the one who dismisses that wild dream as unrealistic. You're the one who silences that little voice inside, that gut feeling, because it's not normal.
So you really have to stop and ask yourself some hard questions. The dreams you're chasing, are they actually yours? The fears that are holding you back, where did they come from? And the approval you're so desperate to get, whose is it really? And why does it hold so much power over you?
The thing is, you're not alone in this, not even close. Millions upon millions of people are living this way, trapped in what you could call a beautifully decorated prison. They're following a script they never wrote for a life they didn't consciously choose.
But here's the escape hatch. It comes from existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre. He had this incredible idea. Existence precedes essence. All that means is you aren't born with a pre-written purpose. You don't have a fixed essence. You just exist. And it's through the choices you make right now that you define who you are. You get to write your own definition.
So that brings us to the most important part of all of this. We've seen the prison. We've seen how it's built. Now, how do we get out? Let's talk about the actual path to reclaiming your own reality.
First things first, you have to recognize the tools being used to keep you in place. First, there's desire. The system teaches you what to want, keeping you on a treadmill of always needing the next thing. Then there's fear. Fear of what people will think, fear of failing, fear of being different, and finally, identity. You're taught that your worth comes from your job title or your bank account, not from who you are at your core.
So here's the playbook for breaking free. It's 3 simple steps. Step 1, awareness. Just seeing the cage for what it is the first, most crucial step. Step 2, reclamation. This is where you start to question everything. What do I actually want? What stories am I going to believe? And finally, step 3, action. You have to have the courage to start living that truth, even in small ways, to choose a life that's authentically yours.
And let's be really clear here. This isn't about going off to live in a cabin in the woods and rejecting everyone. It's about achieving what you might call internal sovereignty. It's about deciding for yourself where society's influence ends and where the real you begins.
Because in the end, the greatest lie ever sold isn't the one society tells you. It's the one you tell yourself. The one that says you're limited, that you're stuck, that you can't change. The real truth, the most powerful truth you can ever embrace, is the exact opposite. You are limitless. And the second you truly believe that, you're already free.
So now you've seen the bars of the cage. You've been given the key. The door is wide open. The only question left is, are you ready to walk out?